Good morning. So we are going to be getting started on a new project today, and we are going to be working with the element of design called form. Now, I know that in your IB unit, you have been learning about the word form. You've been learning about forms of transportation. You've been learning about different landforms. But in art, form is completely different. So in art, when we're talking about form, we are talking about something having like a three-dimensional form. So something that has a height, how tall it is, something that has a width, how wide it is, but then also that's something that has a depth, so how deep it is. If you look at me, I have a height, I have a width. If I turn sideways, I also have a depth. So I am a three-dimensional form. If you were to look at like a piece of flat paper, it has the height, it has the width, but it doesn't have the depth, so it is not a form. Now, if I took that piece of paper and I rolled it up into a tube, it would be a form because it would have the depth. So we are going to learn how to show depth or how to make a form on a piece of paper. Now, our form won't be a real form. It's going to, I don't want to say it's an optical illusion because it's not, but it's going to look like it is popping out, like it has a height, a width, and a depth. And we're going to do that by using something called two-point perspective. Now, you guys, you really need to pay very close attention when I do the demonstration because perspective can be pretty tricky. It can be really easy once you get the hang of it, but it is a little bit tricky at first. So you may have to watch these videos a couple of times to kind of get the hang of things, and that is just fine. But please try to hang in there because I think once you figure out how to make something look like it's three-dimensional on a flat piece of paper, you're really going to think that it's pretty cool. So I am going to do that demonstration in just a second. Okay, so I talked briefly about two-point perspective, and I'm going to try to go a little bit slow when I'm showing you this because, as I said, it can be a little bit tricky. So you're going to want to use a ruler or, like I've mentioned before, the back of a notebook, something that it has a very flat edge but is also sturdy. And then you're going to turn your paper in the horizontal direction, and in the middle of each side you're going to put a dot, okay? So it looks like this. And then you're going to connect the dots. Okay, so it looks like that. Now, this right here, these dots, you're not going to draw this part, but these dots are called vanishing points. And I'm going to use this language while I'm talking, while I do demonstrations, okay? This right here is called a horizon line. Now, you've heard me talk about horizon lines a lot when we make pictures. Like you have to make a horizon line when you draw a landscape because it divides the ground from the sky and it makes things look like they're touching the ground or standing on the ground rather than floating. So everything that we do for this is going to be like we'll talk about the horizon line, we'll talk about the vanishing point, and a lot of the lines that we draw will go to the vanishing points or they will be vertical lines, so straight up and down lines. Now, what I am going to do is start by making a vertical line, so a straight up and down line, and you want to make sure that it's very straight, and you want to make sure that it doesn't touch the horizon line. So it's straight up and down, it's not diagonal at all, and it doesn't go up to my horizon line. okay? That's exactly what I want it to look like. It can be shorter, it can be longer, I don't care as long as it's not touching the horizon line. Now, from the top and the bottom of the vanishing point, you need to draw lines that go towards the vanishing point, okay? So, top of the line, I'm touching my ruler to my pencil, and I'm also touching my ruler to that vanishing point. Now, you don't have to draw it all the way there. I just stopped there. It doesn't really matter how long you make it. This is just going to determine how long your boxes are. Then I'm going to come down here, touch my ruler to this dot, touch it to the vanishing point, and draw my line, okay? Now I need to do the same thing to this vanishing point. So every vertical line you draw, you have to make the top and the bottom of it go to the vanishing point. So now I'm going to put my ruler right up here at the top. I'm going to touch it to the vanishing point on the left and draw a line partway there. Touch my ruler to the dot or the bottom of this vertical line, touch it to the vanishing point up here, and draw this line towards that vanishing point. Now, this part isn't too difficult. All we need to do, so these are now going to be the side of a box. What we need to do is put our flat edge or our ruler right against that vertical line and scooch it over a little bit, and this is going to determine how long our box is. So maybe I want to end my box here, and then I just erase what's left of the extra line, okay? So you want to make sure you draw lightly so that you can erase. Now I'm doing the same thing here. Now it looks like this, okay? And I'll erase the extra. Now this last step is going to finish the box. This is probably the hardest part of the project, okay? Or the hardest part of making a three-dimensional form or a three-dimensional box. I need to take the top of this and go touch my ruler to it, and then touch my ruler over to this vanishing point and draw over that way, okay? So I'm going from this to the opposite vanishing point, and I'm going to do the same thing right here. I'll touch my ruler right to this top line and touch my ruler to the opposite vanishing point and draw my line. And then I erase the extra. So now I have a perfect box, okay? It is drawn exactly the way it should be because I drew it to the vanishing points. Now we're going to go a little bit further. I'll show you how to do it right now. You may just want to practice drawing the boxes today, but we're going to go a little bit further and we're going to turn these into Legos. So I'm putting the curved I don't know what this is called on a Lego, but the part that sticks up like that. And if I recall, there is a hole in the middle of them, some of them. I'm not sure if they all have them or not, but like this. So this part would be dark, okay? Now, again, you don't have to work on this part today if you don't want to, the little peg that comes off the Lego. What I really want you to do is work on making your boxes so that they go to the vanishing point, okay? So I am going to do one more, and I'm gonna tell you guys today is going to be practice. So maybe I want this one to be down a little bit lower, okay? Now they're not all going to look the same because boxes will look different the closer they get to the vanishing point. So top of the box, or the top of this line, goes to the vanishing point. The bottom of that line goes to the vanishing point. The top of the line goes to the other vanishing point. And the bottom of the line goes to the other vanishing point. Now I need to end the side of the box. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure it's vertical, draw my line, erase the extra, oops, sorry, and then do the same thing over here. Erase the extra. Now is the tricky part again. I go from the left side of the box right here to the opposite vanishing point, so over towards the right vanishing point, and from this side to the opposite vanishing point, and I erase the extra. So you'll notice that this box looks a little bit different than that box. You might have tall, skinny ones, you might have great big wide ones. It just depends on how long you decide to make the sides and things like that, okay? Now, I want you to kind of try to work your way through this. It is going to be tricky at first. Today is a practice day, so you can draw 15 boxes if you want. If it's really, really hard for you, I want you to keep practicing. If it's really, really easy for you, I want you to keep practicing because then next time we can start building our Legos on top of each other. So again, today is a practice day. If you have like scrap paper, notebook paper, computer paper, I would prefer that you use that rather than your good art paper, just because like I said, today is a practice day, okay? If you have any questions, please let me know. And remember, if you are working on this outside of art class, watch the video over and over, pause it, do whatever you need to see if you can get the hang of this, okay? All right, we'll see you next time.